Good morning, Scott here, known as Cantaloupe to some online, and I'm bringing a video to you on a subject that's interesting to me. It might be of interest to you or someone you know. And I want to talk about the choice to be alone, which a lot of people make. And I want to draw some examples in this video from historical figures and famous people, starting with Reinaldo Arenas, a famous poet who is passed on at this time, but he wrote a poem called Before Night Falls, which was very famous when it came out. And there was a movie by the same name, and it was a very good movie as well. Not to go into too much detail about Reinaldo Arenas, but he was born in Cuba, in the forest, basically, to a jungle native woman who was a little crazy. They don't go into detail in the movie, but she was a different kind of woman, his mother was, and long story short, Reinaldo Arenas lived in complete isolation, like almost beyond human capacity, and he was so connected with nature and himself, I guess, when he was growing up during his formative years, that he developed what they describe in the movie as a sensitivity for poetry. And he was a gay man, actually. Eventually discovered he was homosexual to the frustration of his father, who popped in periodically early in the movie, and the book, I guess, by the same name. But anyhow, the point here is that choosing to be alone is a valid choice for a lot of people. And Einstein talked about this. Albert Einstein talked about this later in life. He chose to be alone because he found it to be the most preferable situation, where hanging out with other people tended to be problematic and inconvenient in a lot of ways. So I want to talk also about the assumption that people shouldn't be alone, that it's not a valid choice that people can make or will make for themselves in terms of romance, in terms of modern expectations, social expectations, what people are expected to do to be happy, and it's frowned upon. It's thought that there must be something wrong with you if you choose to remain isolated. Maybe you're an introvert, but that's not necessarily true. Choosing to be alone and being introverted are two different things. There is the possibility, and it's rare, that somebody might, be confident and extroverted and even, be very good with people and still choose to be alone for a lot of reasons. I'll talk about just a couple of those reasons here. The reasons can be that unfortunately, a lot of people in modern times, in this part of the world where I live in California, are very superficial. They are very expectant. They have a culture of casual cruelty, of competition, of domination, of dishonesty, of vice and debauchery. And this isn't an exaggeration. So, if a lot of these things are objectionable to any particular person, they might just find themselves disinterested or disgusted even by the people that are around them. And I'm not trying to, say that everybody's bad or terrible, but there are a lot of opportunities, I think, for people to live better lives, more interesting lives, higher quality lives, happier lives, and more virtuous lives. And failing meeting people like that, of who have more interest than just having casual sex, for example. If you are interested in dating, meeting people who are interested in something more meaningful, who can still understand boundaries and what a quality person is made of, being about honesty and integrity and accountability, all that stuff, and having still a sense of humor. It's hard to find good people. It's really hard to find good people. So sometimes, unfortunately, that leaves no one. If there's no one around who you can really connect with on a deep level. Sure, there might be people interested in you, but in the words of Gwen Stefani, I like quoting musicians and famous people. Gwen Stefani said, "Yeah, he knows how to. Yeah, he thinks you're fine and stuff, but does he know how to wind you up?" This is a great idea. Yeah, he thinks you're fine and stuff, but does he know how to wind you up? Okay, so someone might be into you, but is it really, mutual? Is it mutual? I hate to end on this note. I don't have a lot of good news in this video. People can be terrible. They can be nasty. They can be untrustworthy, conniving, backstabbing. They can be selfish and very, very unhealthy with their practices and their habits, and they can also be pathological. They can be crazy. They can have dysfunction, deep, deep dysfunction from when they were, kids themselves. Unfortunately, people need therapy sometimes and they don't get it. Sometimes people are traumatized and abused and they have no internal therapist. Sometimes people do have an internal therapist. Sometimes people are very good at self-analysis and self-healing, but sometimes they are not. And most people, I think, are not. Unfortunately, nobody gets out of here alive, as they say, and nobody even makes it to adulthood without a great deal of scars and trauma, apparently. And it's, I try not to dwell on it, but it's very true. It's very true that a lot of people are really screwed up, and it's risky meeting people, especially when their highest priority seems to be trying to figure out what they can get from you, trying to, attack whatever you expose to them. Unfortunately, I like to be vulnerable. I don't want to have to, manage people in a relationship. If I have to worry about your honesty, if I have to constantly reset the boundaries to where they're supposed to be and pass tests and play games, it's definitely not worth it for me. I have way better stuff to do at this point in my life than try to pass tests and play games and constantly remind somebody that they're cared about because they have an inferiority complex or some kind of pathological insecurity that came from damage when they were young. You'll find yourself, just answering the question over and over and over again, not because you want to and not because you don't care, but because they have this, black hole in their chest that was left when somebody broke their heart. And I keep saying this in a lot of my videos that the world needs women, especially with unbroken hearts, because they are the foundation. They say behind every great man there's a great woman, but this culture, this part of the world, maybe the whole world, I don't know, makes it standard practice to break everyone's heart. We just get it out of the way real quick, and all you have at that point are dysfunctional, untrustworthy people who are bitter, and all they want to do is get down, and that will never be on my list of things to do. Sorry, to be blunt, it's not something I'm interested in. It's a waste of time. It's dangerous, and it's just one part of a much bigger picture. And without the rest of it, it's not worth it. So, reach out if you like with questions or comments. I don't know what you're gonna make of this video, 8-minute video. whiteheartrobot@gmail.com. Thank you.